What's up guys, it's Matt from TDM Style here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm finally back, and today we're talking about two more products from Trade Union Supply Co. We've got their texture clay as well as their plant-based paste. So, before we get started, if you've been wondering like where the fuck I've been and you haven't seen the community posts and stuff, I had to bring my editing computer, my iMac, into Apple for repair because I've been having a really weird issue, and they had it for 9 days, and I finally got it back today. And fun times, they didn't actually fix anything because they couldn't reproduce the issue, so... But whatever, I have my computer back. Hopefully the issue doesn't happen again. And here we are. So I'm ready. I've got lots of content for like the next few days. I'm going to try to get a bunch of videos going. So let's crack right into these two from Trade Union. Also, before we get into things, today's fresh threads are brought to you by Trendy Butler. This is not a sponsored thing, but they do send me clothes once in a while. And these particular pieces, this t-shirt is from Kinetics in this fucking sick ass bomber jacket, which I honestly absolutely love, is from Stitches. And yeah, so Trendy Butler, if you want to check them out, I do have a code down below to get a few bucks off your first order. Yeah, and they do send you some really cool shit sometimes. Starting straight away with packaging, both of these come in your kind of standard 4-ounce amber glass pomade jars. The texture clay is coming in at $20 US, and the plant-based paste comes in at $22 US, and both of those, if you're inside the US, you get free shipping. And as far as the jars and labeling and stuff, they've got the kind of matte gray labeling with, I don't even know what color you would call that text. My brain isn't working right now, but yeah, so around the sides, they also have lid labels on the top that just has the brand name. And the front label for each one actually has a different image. So the texture clay has this kind of pot, like clay pot looking thing, and then the plant-based paste, as you might imagine, has a plant on the front. I believe that's an aloe plant. So packaging, like I said, it's pretty standard pomade stuff, but I love their labels. I just think they look really cool. I like the matte gray, I like the font choices, and I just like their decals and graphics and stuff. I just think it looks nice. All right, it's time to return to the scent category. So first up is the texture clay. I just had a really clay. Earthy. Yeah, I don't really know how else to describe this. It's very earthy, it's kind of woody, and it just kind of smells like clay, I guess. Like, I don't want to say it smells like dirt, because it's not like a bad thing, but it does smell very natural, and earthy is the best thing that I can say. It is a little bit stronger to me when you're breaking it down in the hands than it is in the jar, but once I've got it into the hair, it basically just goes away. Now, let's crack into the plant-based paste one. This one is definitely less of that earthiness. This to me smells more of kind of like a citrusy, sagey. I mean, it does still have that kind of natural earthiness to it, but it's not nearly as like as the clay one. I don't really know how else to, I just said the word earth and earthy like 50 times. I don't really know how, they both smell really natural, but I do prefer the scent of the paste over the clay one. As far as ingredients, I'll have them listed below for you, but we'll quickly run through some of these. These are both water-based. The plant-based paste one actually starts with aloe leaf juice and then distilled water. The clay has just distilled water in the first spot, and then we've got like beeswax, kaolin clay, shea butter, castor oil, usual stuff, rice bran oil? Yeah, and then for the plant-based paste one, after the aloe vera and the water, we have some shea butter, candelilla wax, kaolin clay again, castor oil, carnauba wax, rice bran oil. So, you know, things that we're used to seeing in clays and pastes at this point. But obviously, as you can probably imagine from the name, the paste is all plant-based ingredients, and both of these are, you know, cruelty-free, and I mean, they're homebrew, so they're small batch and all that stuff. Getting inside the jar of each one and taking a look at the product first, starting with the clay, it's this kind of white whitish grayish color, and it does have quite a creamy scoop. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort to get it out of there or to break it down in the hands. The paste one, on the other hand, has kind of this more yellowy look to it, and it definitely is a bit firmer, a bit drier in the jar, and as you scoop it out and start breaking it down, it is definitely waxier, and you will need to apply a good amount of heat in your hands just to really emulsify this and break it down before applying. All right, so now demo footage time, and we'll start again with the clay. And this one, I tried it a bunch of different ways. I tried it in just dry hair, but I actually reached out to them and they recommended that I try it as both a pre and post stylers, and that I did find that that worked the best for me in terms of creating the most hold and just kind of getting the most out of the product. So starting out here with damp hair, I'm going in with a very small scoop into that damp hair, combing it through, and then blow drying that bitch. And so as you can see here, we've got a pretty good starting result. We've got some decent volume and texture, not much in the hold department yet, and I would say at this point it does have a kind of a natural shine. So then going in with an additional, I guess, dime-sized scoop would be appropriate. It definitely does dial up the hold for me to basically a solid medium, and I do find that this one has a natural to almost low shine for me, and it has a clay presence, so it feels, there is a bit of weight to it in the hair. It's not a super light product, but it does have some nice texture. And as you can see here later in the day, I mean, we do have some volume deflation, we do have some deconstruction, which is, you know, kind of expected of a medium hold type product. And it just occurred to me that I forgot to mention, like at the beginning of the video, like I should, this one does say crafted for voluminous and textured styles with a medium to firm hold and a low shine to matte finish. So there you go. I found that this one, for me, I had to be very careful with the amount that I used, and if I overused at all, it did get too heavy and kind of too waxy and separated for me, so just something to be aware of. Going in next with the paste one, and before I forget, again, I'm going to mention this one. This says crafted for versatility with a medium to firm hold again, and this one says low shine. Now, this one for me, definitely I found the best results just applying it to clean blow-dried hair, so that's exactly what we're starting out with here. And again, small scoops here, guys. You do not need a lot of this stuff, and you don't really want to overdo it because it can get pretty dry and tacky if you do. But despite that kind of waxiness and a little bit of a tougher breakdown on this one, I do find it applies pretty smoothly. It does have, you know, a bit of grip as to be expected, but with the finished result here, I would say that for me this is a bit of a stronger hold. So yeah, definitely somewhere between a medium and a firm on this one. Definitely more of a matte to natural finish. I feel like the clay had a little bit more of a shine to it, but this one does have, I guess, a similar texture. They both do have that kaolin clay in there, so they both do end up with that kind of coarse clay-like texture, which is just my thing. Now, the paste was interesting for me because I've used this a bunch, and the first time that I used it, it was like unbelievable. It just basically, it held this insane volume for like literally 2 days, and I used just the tiniest amount, and it was super lightweight, and that was the only time that I was able to achieve that much volume and hold with it. So I don't really know why, because I've styled with it basically the same way each time and just experimented a little bit with the amounts, and I can't seem to reproduce that exact result. So what I found with that one, on average, I end up with, like I said, somewhere between a medium and firm hold and, you know, a decent volume, nothing crazy. I also found that this one, well, actually both of these products, kind of, they allow my natural waves to come out slightly. So I started with, you know, blow-dried hair that was pretty straight, and here, this is like 15 minutes after styling. I filmed this other bit because while I had that first, you know, right after styling, what it looked like, about 15, 20 minutes later after it settled, this is where it ended up, and that's basically where it stayed for the rest of the day. So checking in at 8 hours later, you can see from that, you know, after it had settled to that point, it didn't really change that much. But if you looked at like just from immediately after styling to the 8-hour point, you would notice definitely more of a change. I do still think we saw a little bit of a deflation in volume and maybe some slight deconstruction, but you know, I'm a fan of mediums, so I'm used to that, and that's something that I tend to enjoy because I like my hairstyles to look more natural. Now, the washout on both of these, they are both water-based and they do both wash out fairly easily, but I found that I definitely needed a shampoo to get them out. They didn't come out with just water, which again is fine. I don't really care because, to tell you the truth, whenever I wash my hair, I'm using shampoo anyway, so whatever. I actually found I had a harder time washing the residue off of my hands than I actually had washing the product out of my hair, which was kind of weird, but interesting. All right, so overall, oh, Jesus. Oh God, that heavy jar just hit me in the chest. It was like a gunshot. All right, let's try that again. Overall thoughts on the Trade Union Texture Clay and Plant-Based Paste. Did I do that backwards? I can't even read. Yeah, Texture Clay, Plant-Based Paste. The clay was not my favorite, to be honest with you. I found it was too, finicky for me in terms of how much you use, and oftentimes I ended up either accidentally using too much, or just in one way or another, it ended up feeling too heavy and too kind of separated strands-ish for me, so I wasn't a massive fan of that one. I definitely preferred the paste over that. But the paste though, I mean, don't sleep on the paste. This I really quite enjoyed. It just, yeah, very natural look. It feels very lightweight in the hair and nice clay texture. And I meant to mention it earlier, but I'll mention it now because I forgot because too many fucking things going on. Yeah, so this one, by the end of the day, my hair feels really soft and nourished. With the clay, while that's kind of true, it just felt waxier to me somehow, even though there's more wax in the paste. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, the paste is great. Definitely nice for a good medium to medium firm, very natural, lightweight look, which is basically my bag. And yeah, if you want to check these out or anything else from Trade Union, be sure to use code TDM10 for 10% off your order. They do make some really great stuff. I'm still really loving their texture spray and their clay dust. I use those literally on the regular. Yeah, so definitely check them out. So that does it for today's video, guys. Please do stay tuned. I have so much content to catch up on since I've been down for the count with my computer being away. Within the next few days, we're going to be talking about, I've got them right here, 2 products from Mac for Men. And then after that, I don't know how much after that, but probably shortly because I'm trying to really bang out a bunch of shit right now. After Mac for Men, we have the very highly requested Forte Clay from Alex Costa. Yeah, be ready for that one. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button down below to keep up to date with everything. And as always, thank you guys so much for coming by and watching. And we'll see you at the next one.